Starting out in the city that I live in, and based off of the last video I posted today, you all know what I'm talking about. On the front page of the paper, it says, the school board denies the mask ordinance, but the school board approves the state budget. So what I just had to say to that is, I am so glad. I'm so glad I graduated when I did. And people don't give a fuck. Moving from here down to Hampton County, South Carolina, Alex Murdaugh. Okay, so here's the thing. So remember how a couple of newsrooms ago I told y'all about that food? So he decides to get the harebrained idea to order a hit. So that there can be some insurance fraud. So that the living son can get that $10 million from their life insurance policy. It get worse. Now they are investigating the death of the housekeeper in 2018. Now, I should not be trying to speculate in a newsroom setting such as this, but on TikTok or any other video that is not a YouTube video, I can speculate on. But for the purpose of the newsroom, I will not do that. Who told Balenciaga to do this? Number one, it's not only racist, that is nasty. Okay, that there is something. Well, really and truly, I don't need to explain it. The fact is, y'all still want to promote it, and y'all getting backlash for it. I hope that sales on that product have gone down. And by gone down, I mean nobody's getting it. That is all the way racist. So we all know how Playboi Carti, he was supposed to drop on Monday. Now he's saying he don't care about sample clearance. He wants them to drop it. Comes back and say that I didn't approve of the merch. And then Axe Spray, they want the album. Why on God's green earth would Axe want the album when they are the cause of people spraying themselves down in the locker room after gym as a means to washing or showering? Anyway, speaking of schools, Florida teens, 2 of them, they decide to plot a school shooting. Now the one on the left, he looked like the mastermind. The one on the right, he looked like the sidekick. That is white people shit. Have you ever seen a black person ever so much attempt to do such a thing? And since we're still talking about schools, Bishop Sycamore. Now I know it's been 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. Why talk about it now? All the facts is coming out. All of it. So I am at liberty to talk about it without having to come back and talk about it in another newscast. So of course you done heard about how they fake. They brought in a bunch of dropouts from JUCO or just adults in general. In one case, somebody was actually in high school age. Now, it was speculated. Some of those people could have been JUCO dropouts or JUCO students or just in general adults. But the one that they asked is documented as saying 19 and up. They were playing against them. All the while you were losing. And you got on national TV on a losing streak, which is unheard of. First problem. Second problem, you had a bunch of bouncing checks. Third problem, they had to resort to stealing in order to get food. Fourth of all, leases were being drawn in their name. Mind you now, there was no parental consent. That's the first part. Second thing, they're not even 18. And getting their credit all mangled up in this. Third of all, the deceit. Oh, that ain't third. That's really 2.5, because 3/3 of all is the head coach has an arrest warrant. Or at least he had one in the book. And then the superintendent is noted as being also a certain type of coach. And then, upon my own investigation of looking through the little pamphlet, I get it, you in Ohio. You gonna start school in September of 2020. But something don't add up about that. It is a special place in hell, but you gonna get whipped now, just like Wendy Williams is getting whipped right now. Look at her. She got COVID. You see, that's what you get for being messy all these years. And then, I guess the icing on the cake. You spoke ill of the dead and you know better. You know better. The IRS is scoping transactions over $600. Now, I done seen various things, such as saying, if you have more than $600 in your account, the IRS is going to snoop your account. If you do transactions that exceed $600 account, they're going to snoop that. That is all part of a legislation brought on by Elizabeth Warren to do cut the tax evasion or make taxing equal on all levels, but $600. Come on. People's rent hit near 600 in some places. If you're in a big city, they'll hit 1,000 if you split it in half. 1,000. So you doing 600. Now, if you did some other, then okay. But you doing 600 under the premise of making the upper class pay what they supposed to pay in taxes and not no pennies. All the while you crippling those who are in the middle class or lower class. And you wonder why there is poverty in the pandemic. And since we own money, Mo Bay got arrested for PPP fraud. Don't call me to defend y'all now. Don't call me on the witness stand. Because I'm going to show no say. I tried to tell them. Yeah, that money look good right now. But you going to be crying in jail. I got to move on. Scientists or whoever, they want to bring the mammoth back. No, don't you do that. Do not do. Get off of my screen calling me. No. All right. They want to bring the mammoth back. No, don't do that. Biden's ancestors are said to have had enslaved people. Am I supposed to be surprised? Like, Biden has already showed his ass before he was vice president. And now that he's president, he ain't doing jack. He fumbling and messing up. Talk about Nicki Minaj this, Nicki Minaj that, Nicki Minaj. But of all people who could defend her, Candace Owens. Now, Candace, you really don't have your black card. Matter in fact, it was revoked the minute that you started dealing with Trump. So, this is just pitiful. Really? IG is toxic for teenagers? Really? You had to research it. This is 2021. IG has been out for at least a decade by now. And you just not discovering that? Wow. Y'all behind in time. And so the last story for pig nipple and bacon bowl. Number one, you already done heard the stories about McDonald's food. Second of all, you are vegan. So what business did you have of all places to go to McDonald's? You could have went to any old restaurant, but no, you decided to go to McDonald's, the place that is noted for having whatever kind of problems in their meat. Washington football team is going to host its first Pride Night. This is a news farm, so I can't say it how I want to say it. But if I make a post on TikTok, you probably want to hear me say it. TikTok is AD with it. AD with the content. That's all I'm going to say